So this is a Washburn WD015S. The interesting thing about this one, however, is the fact that it has a open pore grain in the finish. So I haven't actually seen any other ones like this, and in fact, this one came from eBay. Person who sold it to me had modded it with a piezo pickup in the bottom right here, right under the bridge, and he charged me about $10 extra for it because I had ordered it on there. So there's that. So all in all, you can really hear the difference between a guitar like this, which is a solid top, and one that has a laminated top, which means they basically use slices of different woods and they stack them on top of each other. And in the case of that, it is both good for cheap manufacture because you can have different wood scraps, but it loses some tone and some sustain. But like, if you just listen, all that is still present in here. It's still ringing. Like, you may not be able to hear it right now because my webcam camera is pretty crappy right now, but I lost my interface for my DI interface for recording. So anyways, overall I'd say that the tone is more mellow but also more sustainable and more powerful. But moreover, the one issue I really have with this, I think it's the perfect guitar for me right now because it's relatively lightweight. I mean, I had this versus the Mitchell I have a recording of too, and this one's maybe a pound lighter because it doesn't use as much glue or something. I don't know, but you can really feel the weight difference. Like when I do have it strung up with a strap and everything, the weight difference is really good. But the one qualm I have about it is the lower register doesn't sound as well as a higher register on this guitar. So it's a lot mellower, a lot more quiet, but it does make for a good flamenco picking. I don't really know how to do it, but my friend really knows how to, and he showed me, like, when I was at college, how to do it. I forgot how by now, but overall it's good for very fast picking on the high strings, but for some of it gets a little muddy when it comes down to the lower strings. Right now I have it in drop D. Just playing some System of a Down and other bands that use tunings like that. But overall, I'd say this guitar, if it's well taken care of and you oil the board and you keep it sustained since it's open pore, it will treat you really well. And probably right now it's my favorite acoustic. I played some Mitchells, I played some Martins, I played some other Washburns. Some really high-end stuff doesn't even compare to some of the stuff that this can do, but it really depends on your ear too. You could get a $60,000 Martin and you may think it sounds like the best thing ever, but this guitar in someone else's opinion would beat that. It's just all up to complexity of the tones and the registers that you get. But all in all, this guitar is really good for the price. I paid maybe $150 for it. It was used, and the only blemish it has is on the bottom right here. Yeah, you can see it right here. It was dropped and it was epoxy filled in and used wood resin and all that stuff to fix it. But that's probably the only blemish on it, and it was B stock. And I had I didn't have the guy. He had installed the piezo pickup because he tried it, but he didn't like it. And he had to move, so he had to sell his guitar. So I ended up buying it for maybe like, these guitars go for like maybe $400 now because the open pore ones are out of series. But I got it for $150 because the guy gave me a really good deal on it. But overall, the WD015S solid spruce top is probably, I'd rate it a 4 out of 5 or maybe a 9 out of 10, but it really comes down to your ear. If you like lower, like maybe blues or jazz or anything like, anything that requires a lower register, you might not like it because it's really quiet, but like the higher register just oversaturates it. With I'd say with the same amount of volume and the same amount of registry, this guitar is probably one of my favorites, like I said. Compared to some other ones, the higher end ones, it comes close in some regards, but it still doesn't beat a all wood construction guitar. This one has laminated sides and back, but the top itself is spruce, like you can hear it. If I had my other guitar right now, I'd show you, but those tend to sound a bit more dead, like. But all in all, this guitar is probably, it's probably out of stock almost everywhere you'll find it, especially the open wood grain one. But I'm not sure if they still make the actual WD-15s, but I know they don't make the open pore anymore. I actually had called up Washburn and they said it was a limited series, but the tag that had the limited edition has rubbed off on the back. The construction though is still, you can tell it's open pore. It's got that wood grain feel to it, and if you use any oil whatsoever, it'll immediately sink into the wood. You don't have to like put it on the inside like I know some people do. I don't know why they do that, because it can really ruin your guitar if you have too much oil in the top or in the back or in the sides. But overall, the guitar is very, very well rounded except for the lower register. The middle strings are actually, pretty well off, but the lower register very, very low compared. But I'm pretty sure that's because of the spruce top and the piezo pickup in it. But if you are able to get your hands on one, I would rate it like I said, 10 or 9 out of 10. And overall, I'd say that this guitar, it was well worth the money. I've gotten maybe 2 or 3 years of use out of it without, well taken care of. I've made sure to oil the fretboard every so often, change the strings almost bi-monthly. The only thing I actually replaced on here is one fret right here. That was a little too high because of a tongue hump right here. The guitar was dehydrated in storage, I guess, and it caused the tongue right here to push up, so it was causing some buzz. So I pulled out the fret and I shimmied it down, and I replaced it with I shimmied the board down just a little, and I replaced it with a bit higher fret, but it was in line with the other one. Like, here's how it was before, and I moved it just maybe a little below it. But all in all, it's a great guitar. It's lasted me 3 or 4 years. I bought it on eBay maybe. Yeah, it was about 4 years ago. 2 or 3 years I've had it. I've actually been playing it because I had it in storage for a while. I I still took care of it. I had it the hydrator in it, and I just didn't have the time to play it because I was going through school. But if you can get your hands on an open pore WD015S, I would recommend it for, you know, almost anything except for if you want the lower register. So that's it, really. It's this is Romulus Augustus signing off.